Hi there, I'm Amy Griffiths and I'm one of the journalists in Manx Radio's newsroom, and you're listening to Newscast.
Gary Burns. He was walking home with one of his friends and he kicked his ball into the NSC athletics track and climbed over the fence, and the fence caught onto his hand and sliced it open quite badly. His tendons were sticking out of his hand and there were injuries that were done to it which Nobles didn't pick up on. His artery was also split in his hand, obviously causing for him to lose a lot of blood.
And so what happened next?
He and his friend ran to the NSC because that was the closest place for him to get some sort of medical assistance. And the staff checked it and they obviously seen it was very bad. So they did all they could. They called an ambulance for him and they bandaged it up as much as they could, which was very good of them. Paramedics arrived. They did what they could. Paramedics were absolutely amazing with him as well. Parents arrived. Obviously, he's a 15-year-old boy, so he's not going to go up on his own, so they went up with him. Got to the hospital and, got brought straight through A&E and then got examined by doctors from there.
What was the care like while he was at Nobles?
I couldn't fault the doctors up there. They're absolutely great with him. I think they could do as much as they could. When they obviously seen the injury, they said that he needed to go across to Liverpool to Alder Hey hospital because they didn't have the correct equipment or the correct people to fix his hand.
And that's where the issues then started, isn't it?
Yes. So they were told on the way up he only air ambulance over to Liverpool, and then there was a wait, and then the doctor said he needed an air ambulance, and the air ambulance coordinator in front of all of us, so it was me, my mum, my dad and my sister were up there, saying that he's not getting an air ambulance basically. He doesn't need one.
And that was despite the clinician saying that he did?
Yes, so the doctor in there was saying that he needed an air ambulance over, but the coordinator and the travel management decided that he should get the boat over instead.
So he's a 15-year-old boy with quite a serious and gruesome injury, and he's put on a ferry, is that right?
Yes, so he got the Haitian boat and my parents had to pay for a cabin for him because he would have been uncomfortable, he'd been in a lot of pain. The hospital also said that there would be some sort of medical assistance on board with him, and he had to actually take the whole boat and the taxi, which was about 2 hours to Alder Hey, without any medical assistance. They were told there would be someone on the boat with him for pain management, and they also gave him the wrong painkillers as well. So he got to Alder Hey and we were told at the hospital that they were already informed about the injury and that he was turning up. But when my parents did turn up, they had no idea he was turning up at all. So they didn't have the surgeon there to help him and the equipment. So that obviously caused a bigger delay, considering he had to get a boat over, which the boat to Haitian's 4 hours, then an extra 2-hour taxi on top of that. And they didn't even get to the hospital till about 2 a.m. And then obviously then you would expect for him to go straight into surgery, but they couldn't prepare themselves because the Isle of Man hospital didn't inform they were coming.
So how long was it between him sustaining the injury and then getting that surgery that he needed?
The injury happened at around 3:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, and he didn't get into surgery till Saturday afternoon, yeah.
And has that delay had an impact on his recovery?
He lost nerves that they couldn't save, and he needs surgery for skin grafts. They couldn't fix his tendons properly because of the weight, and also his hand wasn't properly checked at Nobles, so his artery was also torn. So they had to concentrate on fixing his artery then over the other injuries, obviously his tendons as well, because he lost a lot of blood already and wouldn't want him to lose any more.
And so he had that first surgery, which was to fix the artery and the infection initially then?
Because the Alder Hey didn't have any information from the Isle of Man hospital about the injury, they could only base it off a photo that we had, which looks like just his tendons are injured. And then when he actually went into surgery, they found an infection and also found out that his artery was torn. And they had no idea about it, so they had to concentrate on fixing that artery before anything else, which obviously is now causing him to having to go back in 12 weeks' time to get his tendons fixed. He had his first surgery on Saturday, which was nearly 10 hours long, so he was in there for a very long time, which kind of again goes to show how bad the injury was. And he's in for his next surgery 12 weeks after the surgery he just had. So what their original plan was, which is to fix his tendons. Also due to the fact that it was left too long, his skin died on his hand, which is also resulting in he's needing a skin graft as well.
Obviously, this is already quite a traumatic thing for someone to go through, but what impact has all of this had on your brother? How is he?
Since he's a kid, he's always wanted to be a Formula One driver, so a hand injury isn't the best if you're wanting a future down that path. He does the go-karting up Derby, so this hand injury's put his career down a different path. I mean, he's devastated about it, as anyone would be, because that's a career-ending injury, or it could change like his career path massively.
What did the team at Alder Hey have to say about what happened and the series of events?
Well, Alder Hey were disgusted on the fact that he had to get a boat over, the fact he had to have a 2-hour taxi drive, they're fuming at the fact that wrong pain relief was given to him and that he was unaccompanied by a medic from A to B, even that they weren't advised that he was coming, so they had no information on how bad the injury was. And also when they did get notes from Nobles about his injury, and the notes were incorrect. What they described wasn't like the injury he actually had. They did say that due to the delay from getting from the Isle of Man to there and the fact that they weren't informed, and so that means there was no surgeon available and there was no equipment available, that it has massively impacted the outcome of what they could have done.
And that's where I guess the frustration for your family comes in.
Yeah, my parents offered to pay for the air ambulance, and when you get turned around to and told that you're getting the boat there, we weren't happy at all. We think it's inhumane the way he was treated.
We have had a response from Manx Care, and it says that it doesn't comment on individual cases, but it did share its general guidance for how patient transfers are handled. And were you happy with that?
There was one paragraph that I see on their statement, which is the reason why I've decided to come up here today. These decisions are made using professional judgment supported by clinical guidelines and relevant assessment tools to ensure patients receive safe and appropriate care. A very false statement. I don't think any professional judgment was used from the doctor's point of view 100%, because the doctor advised that an air ambulance needed to go over. So the statement's false, because if a doctor's advising that he needs transferred by air ambulance and they're blatantly refusing, that's not professional judgment at all.
What would you and your family like to happen as a result of this?
For this to not happen to anyone else, 100%. The way he was treated was appalling, absolutely appalling. And I personally, myself, I definitely fear that we don't want this to happen to anyone else at all, because considering Jamie's arteries were split and they didn't realise, that's losing a lot of blood. And if that happens to someone else, it could have had a completely different outcome. Jamie's quite lucky, in my opinion.
Have you approached anyone else about this? You know, for example, have you gone to your MHKs to ask them for help?
There was a post put on Facebook by a close friend of ours, and we do have MHKs who are willing to get in contact with us and proceed further. One, for this not to happen again, and just to help us out.
What would you like Manx Care to do now?
Apologise. The statement that was I seen on Manx Radio was more of them trying to cover themselves, whereas I think an apology is deserved a lot more than that. My parents pay national insurance and tax, and we expect the health system to be able to pay for an air ambulance. I'd also like to thank the doctors and the nurses at A&E for Jamie, as they fought to try and get him to get an air ambulance over, but just the passion that they had up there was great, and the way they treated my little brother was very good. Also like to thank Alder Hey as well for the way they surprisingly had to deal with the situation and the way they went about it to make sure Jamie was safe, to make sure he wasn't in any pain. They also had to do the pain management themselves with painkillers, which A&E gave them for the boat, was cocodamol. And Alder Hey were, again, very angry because he shouldn't have been given cocodamol. Yeah, all we want from Manx Care is just an apology more than a statement trying to back themselves up, because he has a life-changing injury. So a statement trying to cover themselves isn't enough.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.